Airports are gateways to adventure, reunions, new beginnings. But for some, each takeoff and landing can become a struggle for survival. Today, we'll uncover real-life stories from the world's most dangerous airports, where unique geography, unpredictable weather, and terrifying incidents combine to make flying an ordeal. This is a top 5 countdown, but every one of these places has earned its fearsome reputation, and none you'd want to see looming outside your airplane window. Number 5. Courchevel Altiport, France. Nestled within the cloud-kissed peaks of the French Alps, Courchevel Altiport transforms a winter fairy tale resort into a pilot's worst nightmare. The airport sits at 6,588 feet, surrounded by steep mountains and plunging valleys that force aircraft to descend swiftly through turbulent air. Its runway, just 537 meters long, ends without the luxury of a go-around. Pilots land uphill, often on snow or ice, and there are no approach lights or instrument landing systems. Miss your mark, and there's no escape. The danger isn't theoretical. In February 2019, a Piper PA-46 overran the snowbound runway after a late touchdown. Colliding with a mound of snow, the plane was damaged, but, miraculously, only one person was injured. Yet in 2021, a similar scenario ended in tragedy. A pilot seeking to maintain his Courchevel access suffered a landing mishap, with disastrous results for those on board. The short strip, positioned on a steep gradient, means that powerful deceleration is essential, and flying here, improper technique could mean sliding into oblivion. What makes Courchevel truly unique is its exclusivity. Only a select group of pilots have earned the credentials to even attempt a landing. Many visitors travel to the resort by helicopter or light aircraft, but strict certification is required. Less than 100 pilots worldwide are qualified to operate here. Some have likened the landing to controlled chaos, as the margin between success and catastrophe is razor thin. Number 4. Cristiano Ronaldo. Madeira International Airport, Portugal. On a rocky island in the Atlantic, Funchal's Madeira Airport greets jets with gusts as fierce as any ocean storm. The runway, dramatically extended over the sea by 180 concrete pillars, gives just enough margin for larger planes. But what makes this airport so treacherous isn't its length. It's the winds that twist around the mountains and cliffs, battering aircraft as they try to land or take off. In 1977, catastrophe struck. A Boeing 727 missed the landing and skidded off the runway, falling onto the beach below and killing 164 people. The disaster led to urgent changes, including the construction of the iconic pillar-supported extension. Even now, flights regularly divert or circle for hours, waiting for the winds to die down. Landings here often look more like controlled crashes than textbook touchdowns. Videos of planes bouncing and swaying during landings routinely go viral online, with passengers openly sobbing or praying as the aircraft tries to settle. Hundreds of travelers have been stranded by sudden weather changes, some forced to sleep in the airport while their flights are canceled. Pilots entrusted to land here go through rigorous simulator training and pass specialized certifications. Only a select group of aviators, many with thousands of hours of experience flying into Madeira, are allowed to attempt landing in poor weather. There's a strange ritual among locals. When the clouds hang low and the wind howls, families drive down to the airport's viewing platforms, not for fun, but to watch, in tense silence, as planes try to conquer nature's fury. Each successful arrival is greeted with applause. Each aborted attempt brings a grim nod of relief. As night falls and the terminal lights glow against the churning ocean, one mystery endures. Which flight will be the next to tempt the elements? And will the wind let it survive? Number 3. Toncontín International Airport, Honduras. Set at the heart of Tegucigalpa, Toncontín International Airport is hemmed in by dense urban sprawl and craggy hills, with a runway that barely reaches 1,600 meters. Pilots must execute a sharp 45-degree turn at the last moment, skimming over rooftops and dodging telephone poles, all before slamming onto the tarmac and braking like their lives depend on it. For some, that margin was heartbreakingly thin. The deadliest incident was in 1989. TANSAHSA, Flight 414, caught in thick fog, failed to climb high enough over the city's hills. The Boeing 727 crashed onto a mountainside, exploding in a fireball that killed 131 of the 146 aboard. Survivors recall seeing the burning wreckage scattered across the hillside, their ears ringing as families waited for news that wouldn't come. Since that tragedy, Toncontín has seen repeated disasters. In 2008, TACA Flight 390 overran the runway following a landing in rain, with 5 killed and dozens injured. Even in 2011, a small transport crashed nearby, claiming 14, including a beloved union leader and senior government officials. What sets Toncontín apart isn't just geography. It's the human drama stitched into every flight that lands or departs from this airport. Tegucigalpa's families live in anxious proximity to the flight path. They watch as planes seem to scrape by, sometimes low enough to rattle the window panes. Each approach a test of nerves for all involved. After every incident, new rules emerge, but the airport's dangers remain. Pilots receive special simulator training before ever attempting a landing here. Yet seasoned aviators confess to moments of absolute terror. So, when passengers step off at Toncontín, some feel relief. Others say a silent prayer. And each time the city hears distant thunder, one question looms. Was it only the sky, or something much, much worse? Number 2. Paro International Airport, Bhutan. Deep in the mountains of Bhutan, Paro International Airport sits encircled by 18,000-foot Himalayan giants, its runway carving a thin, improbable line through valleys that shift with fog and shadow. Only 50 pilots on Earth are certified to land here. The reason is clear. Paro's approach demands a hairpin descent between houses and monasteries, with no radar, no instrument guidance, just sheer skill and local knowledge. Flights can only operate in clear daylight. Even then, pilots must hug the contours of mountain ridges, swoop low past prayer flags, and straighten out for the final dash. Land too late or too early, and disaster looms. Every takeoff and landing is a performance. Passengers have described holding their breath and clutching seats as aircraft shudder through pockets of turbulence, homes drifting by almost close enough to touch. Disturbingly, Paro has required emergency landings on more than one occasion. In the early 2000s, a Bhutanese air flight had to abort twice before finally landing, narrowly avoiding a crash into a monastery. Pilots train for years and must regularly recertify, sometimes requiring a local navigator on board to give real-time advice. Residents say that when the airport's radio calls for last approach, hearts race both in the cockpit and on the ground. Pilots who master Paro are the world's elite. Passengers who've dared the landing rarely forget the moment the plane slips between two peaks, revealing the runway as if conjured from myth. Still, locals tell visitors, if you want to reach Bhutan's spiritual heart, you must gamble everything with the mountains themselves. As the clouds coil around Paro's lonely strip, Will the next flight touch down safely, or become a legend whispered by the river? Number 1. Tenzing Hillary, Lukla, Airport, Nepal. Welcome to the rooftop of the world, Lukla Airport, carved into a cliff at 9,334 feet, notorious as the gateway to Mount Everest. The runway slopes steeply, 460 meters long and just 20 meters wide, with a sheer rock wall at one end, a yawning drop into the valley at the other. Weather here changes in seconds, and there are no instrument landing systems. Pilots land blind, thread the narrow approach, then brake with everything they've got before running out of runway. Lukla has seen horror and heartbreak beyond measure. In 2008, Yeti Airlines Flight 101 crashed into the rocks during a fog-shrouded approach. 18 died. Only the captain survived. Eyewitnesses recall the fire, the twisted metal, the grim silence that followed. In 2019, a Summit Air turbolet struggled during takeoff, veered off the runway and slammed into a parked helicopter, killing 3, including 2 police officers on duty. The airport has suffered more than 7 major crashes, over 50 souls lost in the quest to summit Everest. What's strangest is the daily routine. Trekkers gather in the tiny terminal, their faces eager and anxious, hoping clouds will clear long enough for the flight. Families wait, clutching Buddhist prayer beads, as pilots decide, with a quick radio call, whether today's landing will be possible, or whether all must stay and hope for luck tomorrow. Lukla is so perilous that only a select group of aviators worldwide are certified to land here. Some devote their careers to flying the Everest route, knowing each approach could be their last. The runway's slope is calculated to make braking possible, but it also means that every flight feels like falling and living. When tragedy happens in Lukla, it's felt all across Nepal. Survivors describe moments of acceptance, sometimes seeing the ground come up and believing their journey had ended. Yet, every day, flights attempt the approach, chasing adventure, daring fate. So as the sun rises over Lukla, casting gold over the cloud-wrapped runway, a question lingers in the thin air. Which of today's travelers is facing their last adventure? From the snowy peril of Courchevel to the unforgiving cliffs of Lukla, every runway in this countdown forces pilots and passengers to confront fear, face nature's wrath, and sometimes witness tragedy up close. Often, it's not just the geography, but the lives forever changed by error, luck, or sheer endurance. What pattern do you see among these airports? Is it the mountain, the wind, or something deeper, something profoundly human, behind these stories? Share your thoughts below. What's the scariest airport you've ever experienced? Would you brave any of these for the chance of a lifetime? Don't forget to subscribe to Real Mystery Reports for more strange, dark, and profoundly human stories. New true mysteries every day.